This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Virginia McConnell.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast Live. Are you in need of a chiropractor? One might be closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Dr. Bogacz, with Ridge Chiropractic. How's it going?
Hey, Virginia. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So we're excited to learn all about your business and you. Can you tell us about your company?
Well, I think first I want to tell you about me. I'm from Sarasota and I grew up here, and I'm very fortunate that I get to practice in a building that is literally next to the building where I received my first adjustment when I was 10 years old. And I knew very early on that's what I wanted to do because, well, when I grew up, I had headaches almost every single day, and they got to a point where they were making me go home from school, and I knew that that just wasn't right. And, you know, when you're a kid, you kind of just accept things as that's just the way it is. You know, you get a headache, you get Tylenol, a washcloth on the forehead and lay down, but you're just in misery. And when I went to see the chiropractor, she told me something very profound that, hey, your brother's 6'2", 6 years older than you, and you think you're as big as he is. You play football. Some of those things might have just moved those bones out of the position, pressing on nerves that go to your head, giving you the headaches. And if we can get the pressure off those nerves, you're going to feel better. And I mean, really, after that first adjustment, I wasn't healed, but a couple adjustments later, no more headaches. And I knew that there are so many people out there that just don't understand or haven't had that experience. They might be suffering with something for years and just accept it as part of their life, when something so simple as laying on a table, getting adjusted, which feels great, and makes them feel better. Why wasn't everybody doing this? So I knew at a very early age that this is my calling. My calling is to help people understand that they're really not that far away from feeling a lot better. They just need the right person or the right treatment that just helps their body express the health that they already have inside.
Wow, that's amazing. And to know that young, that's really awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, I'm 42 this year, and it's funny to see other friends and how they've, you know, have their lives and what they've done with them, and some very awesome, successful friends. But one particularly always says, you knew what you wanted to do, and he knew what he wanted to do from a very early age. And it's cool to realize your dreams in that way. So yeah, I'm very fortunate, and I love being back in my hometown. I love being here in a place that I consider the best place on earth. I mean, I've gone around a lot of places. In fact, when I first got out of chiropractic school, one thing that was really important to me was service, and it still is service to, well, humanity, I guess. And, you know, unfortunately in chiropractic school, it's very hard to get your hands on people, you know, because you're new and it's an experience for that person to get adjusted by a new chiropractor. So I had the opportunity to move to Peru, Chiclayo, Peru, particularly, and work for a company that gave me the opportunity to see a high volume, help a lot of people, work in orphanages, and go around northern Peru and spread the message that, you know, there's an alternative to drugs and surgery for these problems that we fix, and a whole bunch of extra side effects that make your life better. You know, if you're hurting all the time, what kind of parent can you be? If your back is killing you, could you really be the best worker or person that you can? No. So to me, it's much more than pain, of course, but it's the changes that I get to see in people's lives when they can overcome these obstacles that they thought might have been insurmountable in a couple of weeks or a month or something like that. It's that empowerment that you get, that you are the cure to your problems. You just got to have somebody to walk you through the process.
Wow, that's so rewarding. So you kind of told me already how you got into the business. So what are some common misconceptions or myths in your industry?
So, you know, chiropractic has been around since 1895. And the reason it's still here is because we do great work. Most people, you know, when they're interviewed about their satisfaction with chiropractors, it's off the charts because, again, it's something that is almost unbelievable when you've tried other things. You know, if you want to work out and go to the gym and get your body in shape, Obviously, that's important, but it's a lot of commitment. It's a lot of work. You're going to be doing the work. Now, if you had a personal trainer, it would be better. And that's kind of how I feel in so much that we have a spine. It's the most important part of our body. It's not only the structural center, but it's also the neurological way that we experience the world. And if we don't think about it, because God has given us something that is so much of a miracle and a gift, that sometimes we forget that we have to take care of it. And it's not hard. In fact, it's super easy when you start early and understand. But when you wait to get behind the 8 ball and you have the bad back boogeyman for the last 20 years, it feels almost like you can't, but you surely can. So yeah, with chiropractic, the misconception is that I guess maybe like we crack bones, we adjust spines, we make the specific adjustments to the spine that get your body back in balance. I mean, anybody can hit you over the back with a book or something like that. And it might work, it might not. But when you have the skill, the art, and the science behind what we do, it really is just, it's an amazing thing. So it's not a violent thing. It's not a hurty thing. No, it's something that's going to release the stress on your body so that you can feel better. And another misconception is that you have to crack bones, I guess, make that sound. And I started off traditionally adjusting, manually adjusting, and I still do that. And in fact, that's something I feel is a specialty of mine, because I have had thousands upon thousands of people's spines in my hands after working all those years in South America in such a high volume, that I feel very, very comfortable adjusting kids or people who are a little bit older. Now, of course, we do our due diligence to make sure that there's no underlying issues that could be a problem. But several years ago, I actually invested heavily into some new technology in chiropractic space that allows us to objectify what we're doing. What does that mean? These hands are great, but I can't tell you a measurement from these. I can tell you how it feels, but I can't give you a numerical measurement. And the instruments that I use now for most patients is a tool that allows us to first measure and find where these areas of fixation in the spine are, where we need to work. And then using an instrument that has that sensor inside of it to tap on the spine to, it's not just tapping, but it's stimulating the nerves and allowing that nerve to reset the muscles and allow the spine to move itself back into place. Because that's the real, maybe the secret of our profession, is that there's no chiropractor that can move a bone 2 inches to the right or 3 millimeters to the right. We can find the fixation, but we have to allow the body to adjust itself. We have to get rid of the impediments from it doing the job that it normally does every single day, and stop that feedback loop of it thinking it's in the right spot when it's really not.
Interesting. I've never had it explained like that. That's really cool. And so we know marketing is the heart of every business. Who are your target customers and how do you attract them?
Right. So word of mouth obviously is the biggest thing in my office. When people get results, they want to tell people about it. So that is a big thing. Another thing that I personally enjoy doing is I love getting out in the community, and I love to talk and speak to people and give them this knowledge, because again, if I had $1 for every person that came in that's had problems for months and months and months and has gotten better in a very short period of time, I feel like more people would understand that, hey, you take care of your house, you take care of your car. Chiropractic is like a dentistry. If you are not taking care of your teeth one day, you will pay. Same thing with the spine. And then the beautiful thing is when you have somebody like me who can not only treat you when you're hurting, but teach you how to stop doing the little things that are making you hurt, start doing the little things that are going to make you feel better for longer. And then, some people think that you go to a chiropractor for life. Well, if you're smart, you do, because there's always gravity and there's always going to be things that affect your spine. But if you have somebody who knows you, who can keep you in the best shape possible, and maybe work on the little niggly things that pop up here and there and get them under control before they get out of control, that's, I think, one of the best and easiest ways to keep your body in shape and in the best position to have the best life. So to me, it's a no-brainer. And so when it comes to marketing, well, we could all do better. And but I think the most important thing is giving people the truth, giving them the opportunity to make an informed decision, not just something on YouTube where they see somebody pulling on their neck, but somebody who can explain it to them in a way that they've never heard before, that makes sense, and makes you understand that, hey, if I just take care of myself a little bit now, well, the world's your oyster.
Yeah. Well, have you ever thought about having your own podcast?
Yes. Well, I love podcasts. I think there is maybe a spot in this world for a fun chiropractic podcast, or I don't know, something here in Sarasota, because there's a lot of interests of mine, and there's a lot of good people out there to interview. So there's nothing better than, to me, connecting with somebody on a topic that gets you both enthused, and that's a lot of fun. So maybe that'd be great.
Yeah, something you're passionate about for sure. So outside of work, what do you do for fun?
Well, I do a lot of stuff for fun. I love to cook. I love living here in Sarasota because there's always outdoor things. The water's right there, paddleboarding, kayaking, sailing. It's just so amazing when you can be out on the water, especially we're coming up here to the summertime. One of my favorite things to do is get up before dawn. I'm a really early riser, and get out there on the water when it's, just the same temperature as the air, and you just can be out there for dawn. It's great. So that's a lot of fun. I've recently picked up salsa dancing, and my number one thing that I'm doing right now is I'm looking over at my little hairy daughter here. I just got a puppy, and she's absolutely an angel. And so we spend a lot of time going to dog parks and walking around Marina Jackson, enjoying being out in public. So those are some of the things I enjoy doing. And, but one of the most important things that I enjoy doing is I love learning. And I think as a physician, you have to continue to be on the cutting edge of not only the techniques that you can use to help people, but the ways that you can help them understand those things better.
Okay. So Dr. Bogacz, please tell our listeners one thing they should remember about Ridge Chiropractic.
Treat, teach, train, and transform. It's a really simple process. If you're hurting, I got to treat you. I know what I'm going to do to help you, and you haven't learned how to help yourself yet. So the balance of power is going to be in my hands. I'm going to be doing a lot for you. But during that time, because healing takes time and repetition, I'm going to be teaching you the little things that you've missed because you're not an expert in this. This isn't what you do all the time. So I feel like I can give you the Cliff Notes version so that you can not just take it as magical, but take it as, wow, okay, that's like magic, but it makes sense. And if I only do these little things, this isn't coming back anymore. That's the teach part. Train, I'm a certified foundation training instructor, which if you haven't heard of that, that is the thing that will counterbalance the 8 to 10 to 12 hours of poor posture sitting, looking at our phones, living in 2026 in about 10 minutes of relearning what good feels like. Most people, when you say straighten up, it hurts. And it hurts because they're doing it wrong. But the beautiful thing is about foundation training is when you learn something that you can do that's going to give you better posture, better movement, but most importantly, less pain, then you feel like you have that power back. So now the treatment and the training are about half and half. And then as you continue to progress and you get stronger and stronger, using all the things that you've learned, all the training, all the adjusting, then that's when your body has the time to really transform and get back to doing the things that you might have thought you gave up. Hey, I used to love to do this, but man, it just is too much. I'm too old. I'll give it up. Nope. I grew up here. I know what getting old looks like. It either looks good or it doesn't. And I want it to look good on me. So the things that interest me are the things that allow me to experience life here in this beautiful place for as long and as in the ways that I want.
Okay. And how can our listeners learn more about Ridge Chiropractic?
Well, first, of course, they can come to the office anytime. Our policy is that if you're hurting and you have a question, then let's make a time to sit down and talk together. So 15 minutes, we can talk about whatever it is that's bugging you, if it's pain or problems or whatever, and how I feel like maybe I'd be able to help you. If that's something you want to pursue, the next step would be to do an exam and, start the process. But the most important part is if we can sit down and you can tell me what's bugging you, there's a good chance that I can tell you, you are an individual. However, this movie I've seen about 60 times and I know how to get you better. So here's how we're going to do it. And when you have somebody who has that confidence that knows, because listen, if I don't feel like I can help them, I am a really good referrer to the people that they can. And not everybody gets better with me. I wish they did, but sometimes there's things that need to be addressed by others. And so the most important thing is having a network of other professionals that I can refer to with confidence when they're not getting the results with me. But I would say check out our website, enjoy this podcast. But the most important thing is if you have a trouble, if you're thinking that, man, you need some help, give us a call at the office. We'd be happy to sit down and chat with you.
Okay. Well, Dr. Bogacz, I really appreciate you being on the show. We wish you and your business the very best moving forward.
Thank you, Virginia. I really appreciate you having me on.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpsarasota.com. That's gnpsarasota.com or call 941-949-1865.